Do you have a habit that you've always wanted to change? Or an idea that you wanted to pursue? Perhaps that resolution that you made on New Year's that you didn't really stick to. I'm going to start drinking more water from today. I am going to start saving this year. I want to travel the world. We tell ourselves these things every single day, don't we? But how often do we get to accomplish them? How often do we accomplish them? How often does that idea that's been running in your head actually get into execution? Today, I want you to ask yourself, what is stopping you from reaching that goal? My grandfather, has taught me a lot of valuable lessons ever since my childhood. But there's one thing that he says that has always stuck with me. He tells me, Maya, whatever you begin, make sure you complete it. Such a simple statement, isn't it? A simple thing. Completing a task that you have begun. But as I grew up, I learned that completing a task, something that you've initiated, is not actually that simple. Growing up in the capital with my grandparents at my maternal home, I'm the eldest grandchild, and at that point I was the only grandchild, so no wonder I was a pampered kid, which made me a very lazy kid, as that I was. And my world was limited. My world was limited to this city, and I was limited to this small world. Everything, literally everything in the world came easy to me. I did not understand what it meant to strive tirelessly. I did not understand the value of hard work. I did not know what that meant until the year 2016, when everything changed. 2016 was the year I decided to defy all of these allegations of me being just another lazy, introverted, fat city girl, otherwise termed by my Newar family as boiler ka. Ka means chicken. So I was termed as a boiler ka, but in 2016 I decided, okay, I'm done with this. I'm tired of being called that same name every single day, and I'm going to change it. And you know what I did? I decided to go on my first trek. My first trek, or trekking in general, is where I relate best what my ba told me. Completing a task, I relate to completing a trek. Again, it's quite simple to think of completing something that you have begun, but it takes a great deal of work. It takes so much of you. But most importantly, it takes that one ability that I have broken down into 3 simple steps. Whenever you want to do something, whenever you think of an idea, all of it begins in your head. The place you want to reach, the destination, the project that you want to do, or that habit that you want to change. Change. Step 1. Is to have that will to change. And when I say will to change, it means even just thinking about going from where you are to where you want to. That is the first step. For me, the will to change made me decide that I am going to leave the comfort of my bed, get out from behind the books that I used to hide in, away from that small world of mine, out in the mountains and explore. I was going to challenge my physical limitations, and that idea, that decision, was my will to change. I knew I had to at least try because I knew that I could, because I had the will to change. We all think of so many ideas. We all have this will to change something in us, to go from one place to another, right? But is that enough? Will that get you where you want to? Maybe not. And that's where step 2 comes in, the will to commit to that change. The will to commit to that change is what makes the change real. It gets you to take that leap, to take that first step to get to that desired goal. For me, the will to commit to that change was expressed when I packed my bag, got my friends, we got on a bus, and we reached that first destination where our trek was going to begin. That was the point when I was full of energy. I felt like I could accomplish anything. We had everything sorted. We had our plans, everything I would ever need throughout the trek was in my backpack. I knew where we were going to go. I knew how we were going to get there. And I was just so excited of just the thought of reaching to the mountains, just that thought, that picture of making amazing memories and, well, to be honest, later posting it on Instagram. But I was excited. I had taken that first step. I had expressed my commitment to change. But I had no idea how tough it was going to be. We started walking up the mountain. So it's a group of 6 friends, right? We start walking up the mountain slowly, and it's the first hour in, it hit me. Julie, this is not going to be easy. I had that will to change, sure. I was committed to that change, but I just couldn't breathe. And my legs were hurting so much. My shoulders were burning from that load of my backpack, and all I wanted to do was just throw everything away and leave, go back home to that comfort of my bed. My friends had gone way ahead of me, and I was sitting there alone. You know what I did then? I just took a break. I thought, okay, I'm just going to put my backpack on the side. I sat down, and I looked around me. I could see these giant mountains behind these luscious green hills, this big river that was flowing with all its might below me, and in that giant world was this tiny little me with 2 choices. I could either take the easy way and just go back downhill, get on the next bus, go back home, and think that this never happened. I never even thought of doing this. It never happened. I was just always reading back home in my bed, having that comfortable life. Or I could put myself together, pull in all of my strength, struggle through every single step, and get to that amazing view that was right in front of me. All it took is just a few more steps. Often, when we think of doing something, even when we take the first step, we tend to forget that reaching there is difficult. When you have that will to change and you commit to it, the image in your head is of the success, of that achievement, that moment of achievement where everything is beautiful and everyone is cheering for you. We never see that reaching there is actually difficult, challenging. There are so many obstacles that you have to get through. Whenever you start on any journey like this, where you want to make change, there will come a point after you have committed to the change where you want to give up, where you think that nothing is working for you, where you're in the middle of these giant mountains and all you want to do is throw everything and go back. Go back because at that point you are outside of your comfort zone. Our generation is so used to seeing these role models and successful people who've been there and achieved something, and we want to get there. But when we start and we reach that point where we think we're stuck, it's an easy way out to just take a step back, go wherever you were, back to your comfort zone, and we give up so easily, right? That is the very vital point in your journey, and that is where step 3 comes in, the will to continue. Now, I was posed with choosing between going back or going further, right? What I did at that point was just reflect. When you reach that point, just make sure that you take a break. You sit down, catch a breath, drink some water, look around you. Reflect on why you began. Think about what got you here. You're in the middle of something that you've always wanted to do. Are you ready to give that up? You are to make a decision there. I was too. And I chose my goal over my comfort. I decided to get back up, join my friends who'd gone way ahead of me, and I did not care. I knew where I had to get to, and I knew it's not going to be easy, but I was going to give everything to reach there because I had the will to continue. Now, why I relate doing anything in life to going on a trek is this. That trek ended on a very beautiful note. We got to the top, we clicked a bunch of amazing pictures, great memories. But what I achieved from that trek was much, much bigger. I discovered my love for travel. For the first time in life, I knew what I was passionate about. I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that this city girl wanted to explore beyond. And the following year, in 2016, that will to continue empowered me enough to take on more challenges, to go on more adventures. And that is why I decided and got the opportunity to travel solo across the length of Nepal, from Mahakali in the far west to Mechi in the east, for a month by myself. Now, mind you, 29 days, 15 districts, and 1 woman. It was definitely not easy, and it was hell exhausting. It was super, super exhausting. But what drove me through every single day of getting to every new place, of riding a public bus to get to a new destination, of approaching strangers, talking to them, getting information from them, trying to figure out what to do next, making my own decision and being accountable for it. No one to ask for advice, no one to guide me through. That whole month, that whole journey, every call that I made back home made me want to just run back to that comfort of that small world. But my will to continue, sticking with what my boss said, to complete what I had begun, is what got me through. And in 2017, as a solo woman travel challenge winner, I completed my journey from far west to the east through the length of Nepal for a month alone. Thank you. You see, it's not easy. It's not easy for a city girl like me to go to this remote part of Nepal and start climbing hills. For someone who even despised stairs. It's not easy for someone who's always been in the city to travel by herself. A young Nepali woman to travel by herself to places that she'd only heard of or read about. It is definitely not easy. But what got me through, what made me complete this journey, is recalling what Ba said. Complete what you begin. And as I said earlier, that I led up to that, to achieving that, because I stuck to those 3 steps. I had the will to change from where I was to where I wanted to be. I had the will to commit to that change and take that first step. I had the will to continue. And in these 3 steps, I developed that one ability I told you about earlier. That one ability that's going to get you through everything in life, that I think is the most important, and that is willpower. For me, life is like a trek. Every opportunity that I have that I take, every challenge that that I come across, every goal that I set is like another mountain to climb for me. And in this journey of life, whenever I come across any such challenges, all I do is stick to these 3 steps. All I do is recall what Ba says. Complete what you begin. All I do is believe that I will. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great day.